Okay, so we will now start with the feminism. Okay, and we'll try to quickly we will try to go over this particular topic. And what is feminism? Feminism basically is the belief that women should be equal to men in terms of rights. Okay, and this awakening led to the start of the feminist movement. But the feminist movement did not start in the 20th century. It did not start in the 1960s, though it peaked at that time, but it did not start then. As a movement, this is an old movement. It started in the 19th century. In fact, in the middle of the 19th century. So feminism is not one movement. Then, if it started then and continues till this day, then it's not a single movement. It's a combination of movements and ideologies, and it attempts to defend women in all spheres, which is economic, political, and social. The idea is that women should get the same opportunities as men, which were denied to them, which have always been denied to them. So there's a fourth wave of feminism, but we are primarily concerned with the waves of feminist movements that took place in the last 100 years, and these are the in fact one and a half centuries, and these are three waves: the first wave, the second wave, and the third wave. So what is the first wave? The first wave started because women were considered intellectually inferior, physically weak, and emotionally not very sound. Therefore, they were not given the right to vote, and they were not given equal educational opportunities. In fact, they were denied educational opportunities at universities and schools, and they were largely considered to be the properties of their husbands. So, what was the result of such thinking? There was abuse of women. There was no right of divorce. Abortion was kept illegal, and what happens in the case of the husband leaving the woman? She will have no right to her own children. So these were the consequences, and that is why the first wave started. It starts from the year 1848, okay, and it primarily starts in the United States and the United Kingdom. And here, women are mainly fighting for education, employment, but it soon becomes a fight for political rights as well. Women then start to fight for the right of suffrage. Suffrage means that they want the right to vote. Okay, and this movement basically continues till the start of the First World War. And interestingly, in Russia in 1913, the first Women's Day is observed, and immediately after the end of the First World War, then some success comes, and women in the United States are granted the right to vote. However, overall attitudes do not change, and the women are still discriminated against. So then comes the second wave. What happens? Why does the second wave come? Because women could attend school and university now, but they were discriminated against in the economic sphere. They were not given the same salary. Yes, women could get a divorce, but it was not socially acceptable still. Okay. It was considered wrong for husbands to abuse their wives, but what was the legal position? They were never punished by the law. So this all these things led to the second wave. The society was patriarchal, which means men were still supreme, and as a result of that, uh, a lot of legal rights were denied to women because they were considered inferior beings. Okay, so the second wave then occurs in the 1960s, and basically in the post-war period, and women did achieve things in terms of abortion rights, and rights related to their health. So they did achieve things like that. So, and some important incidents took place, which are given here. Um, then comes the third wave, and this third wave also has an historical background. Okay, a lot has improved for women by now. They are seen as equal. They are not forced into marriages. They have equal rights, and the legal system has also improved. Okay, but the third wave feminists, they um, seek to challenge. And we must understand that the third wave is actually a continuation of the second wave. So the main change that comes in the third wave is that in the second wave, the changes that came, they mainly touched the women from the middle classes. In the third wave, women try to extend all the benefits that they have earned to all classes. Why only upper and middle class? Okay, so the third wave then says these improvements should not only be for elite women; it should be for all women. So that is the main change. It's basically a continuation of the second wave. Okay, and another word emerged at this stage. It was called the young feminist. Okay, the young feminist and collective action. Now collective action basically is a term which comes from trade unions, but that word is adopted, and various kinds of feminisms then develop, and all class inequalities are they attempt to ignore all these class inequalities and involve all women in this movement. All right. I will then briefly talk about the various types of feminism. Now, these were the waves of feminism. Let's now talk about the types of feminism. What are the types of feminism that you will find? So, the types of feminism are, firstly, liberal feminism. Okay, so please keep that word in mind, liberal feminism, or the liberal feminists. Who are the liberal feminists? Now, liberal feminists are those who do accept that women are exploited, that women are discriminated against in society. But what is the solution? Their solution is not to enter into hostility or open confrontation with men. Okay. So what do they believe? They say that, look, yes, improvement is required, but this improvement can be brought about within the framework of the existing institutions, of the existing sociological institutions. Uh, for example, the legal system. So women can try to improve their situation in the context of the given legal system. There's no need to confront men head on. There's no need to have an unnecessary attempt to overthrow men and to so yeah, so there will be resistance in some form, but there will not be a threat to men. No overthrow is sought. In other words, this is more of a reform oriented movement where existing institutions are used to bring about improvement to the lot of women. Then there is um, socialist or Marxist feminism. Okay, so what is Marxist feminism then? Please do keep in mind that Marxism is a conflict theory. Okay, it emphasizes that there will be conflict between institutions and conflict between people. Feminism too is a conflict theory. Okay, feminism also is a conflict theory. So that is something that Marx and the feminists have in common. The Marxists and the feminists have this in common, that they are both related to conflict. And there is another thing that they have in common. The conflict will be between two groups. Okay, in Marx, in the case of Marx, the conflict is between the two groups, which are the two classes. Okay, So the classes are the proletariat and the bourgeois. And in the case of the feminists, the conflict is going to be between the two genders, male and female. So, socialist feminism or Marxist feminism combines these two characteristics. What do they say? They say that, look, yes, there is discrimination against women, uh, and men do discriminate against them, and they don't give them their rights. But this discrimination is more pronounced, more accentuated in the case of women of the lower class. Now, as I already said, that the word class is Marxism's enduring gift to posterity. So they introduce class here again. There is discrimination, and there is gender discrimination. The women are discriminated against, but this is more pronounced in the case of women of the lower class. This is not to say that men will not attempt to discriminate against women of upper classes, of the upper class. They will try that too, but they will probably not be very successful. They will be more successful in exploiting women of the proletariat, the working class. So that is the second form. The third is radical feminism. Radical feminism um, is a way of thinking in which a head-on collision is called for. Okay, this is where um, you feel that a reordering of society is necessary. And why is it necessary? It's because the men are essentially beyond redemption. They are beyond reform. Unlike the liberal feminists, they believe that men cannot be reformed, they cannot be improved. They will always, 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 given the chance, they will always exploit women. So we need a radical solution to the problem, and that will be a radical reordering of society to get rid of male supremacy completely. And this male supremacy will be got rid of in all areas: social, economic, political. Okay. And what is the problem? Why are men strong? Because of the system of patriarchy. So patriarchy as a system needs to be destroyed, and the existing social norms and institutions must be completely destroyed, rather than in case they are perpetuating this patriarchal system, then they need to be done away with. And this will not be a slow political process, but it will be a radical change, a major change. It will be like an abolition. Okay. By eliminating the existing social norms and the existing social institutions. All right, so these are the three types of feminism. Please do read them carefully, and I hope you have understood this so far. Thank you very, very much indeed.